Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a committee with the University of Kentucky studies the impact of artificial intelligence on higher education. Plus, the United States is providing more in military aid to Ukraine.
And we're tracking spotty to scattered storm chances right into the weekend. The very latest details on the way. It's Mountain News at 5:30. Starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Olivia Calfee. The popularity of artificial intelligence within universities stems back to its release last fall. The application ChatGPT has attracted both negative and positive feedback, with some claiming it's a form of plagiarism, while others believe it is a positive advance in technology. The University of Kentucky has formed a new committee to look at the impact of artificial intelligence and tools like ChatGPT on higher education. Lucy Bryson spoke to a representative of this new committee today.
It can enlighten our understanding of how this technology works.
Since its release date last fall, ChatGPT and other apps like it have quickly become a phenomenon that has swept through college campuses. The free artificial intelligence application ChatGPT was created in November of 2022. A survey by Best Colleges found that since its release in November, 31% of instructors have explicitly prohibited ChatGPT in their courses, claiming that it's plagiarism. Dr. Trey Conister is on Kentucky's UK Advance Committee, a committee that believes we should look toward the benefits of artificial intelligence and ChatGPT rather than as a form of plagiarism.
The idea of UK Advance is to get out ahead of that narrative and try to craft one of our own in a way that kind of owns it.
He explained today that there are many positive ways to use it, like
summarizing information, taking ideas and framing them in a different way, or even acting as conversation partner in tutoring applications.
And although he says they're uncertain of the outcome,
the approach that we are taking is one of sort of informed caution, but energetic curiosity.
They're still ready to welcome this change. In Lexington, Lucy Bryson, WKYT.
Well, we kept it dry for the most part today. A couple of downpours tried to go up, but the atmosphere just not in the right frame to see the potential for downpours today. Though a few of those fair weather clouds trying to bubble into the afternoon from our UVA WISE camera. 77, the current reading there. Well, it's not nighttime here in Hazard yet. I can tell you that because it's warm. 84, the current temperature. 85, London, Manchester. How about 88 into Harlan and Jonesville? 89 in Monticello. They were at 90 not long ago. Factor in the humidity. Dew points are in the middle and upper 60s, and it feels closer to 90 in many spots. It feels like 95 degrees in Monticello right now, 91 in Somerset. Your forecast first this evening, we'll continue to see those temperatures drop. 84 this evening, 81 by 8 o'clock, and falling through the 70s and eventually into the upper 60s as we head into our early Saturday morning. But Olivia, I don't think we're done with the showers and storms yet. Those details in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Evan. One person is dead after a shooting in Boston late last night. Boston police found the victim's body in Dorchester after reports of a shooting just before midnight. As of this morning, no arrest had been made in connection with the shooting. While detectives were investigating that shooting, another group of officers was called to the scene of a shot-up car half a mile away. The car was found behind a church in Roxbury with several bullet holes in the windshield. Officers say a victim flagged them down nearby and reported being involved in an armed carjacking. No injuries were reported in that incident. The gunman convicted in a racist attack on Hispanic shoppers at a Texas Walmart in 2019 will never again see the outside of a prison. A U.S. district judge sentenced 24-year-old Patrick Crusius to 90 consecutive life sentences today for killing 23 people at a Walmart in the border town of El Paso. He pleaded guilty to federal hate crime charges earlier this year after federal prosecutors took the death penalty off the table.
Even if we think that guilt is very clear, it saves them the time and resources of a trial. And it still allows the victims' families their moment in court because of the sentencing proceeding.
There is another case against Crusius set to proceed in Texas state court. Prosecutors have said they intend to seek the death penalty there. The U.S. is providing more military aid to Ukraine, but this shipment will include a controversial type of weapon. CBS News correspondent Willie James Inman explains from Washington.
These are cluster munitions, which detonate dozens of submunitions called bomblets. The Biden administration announced it will supply thousands of them to Ukraine.
With this announcement, we will be able to provide Ukraine with hundreds of thousands of additional artillery ammunition immediately.
The cluster munitions are controversial because unexploded bomblets could harm civilians during and after a war. More than 120 countries banned the weapon, but U.S. officials say the munitions sent to Ukraine will have a lower dud rate, which means fewer unexploded bombs that could hurt civilians.
The DPICM ammunition we are delivering to Ukraine will consist only of those with a dud rate less than 2.35%. Compare that to Russia, which has been using cluster munitions across Ukraine with dud rates of between 30 and 40%.
The new military aid package totals $800 million. In addition to ammunition, it also includes armored vehicles.
We base our security assistance decision on Ukraine's needs on the ground. And Ukraine needs artillery to sustain its offensive and defensive operations.
Ukraine has repeatedly asked for cluster munitions as the country's troops struggle to make substantial headway against Russian forces. U.S. officials say Russia already uses them in civilian areas. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
Officials say the U.S. could eventually run low on regular munitions, so this decision will ensure there's no gap in providing weapons. The United Nations has asked both Russia and Ukraine to avoid using cluster bombs. If you have ever wondered how much money has been spent investigating former President Donald Trump, we have some numbers for you. Public accounting records say Special Counsel Jack Smith has dropped more than $5.4 million. $5.4 million in his two investigations into effect to overturn results of the 2020 presidential election and into the classified documents found at Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence after he left the White House. $2 million of that went to employee salaries. Other Justice Department agencies spent an additional $3.8 million to support Smith, bringing the grand total to more than $9.2 million.